Git repository with the package.json file that we made and the index.js. I don't have the server directory because all I'm publishing is the index.js, and so that will also be reflected in my npm scripts. There's no server directory, so it's just pointing directly at the index.js and the root of the repository. Let's see, so I haven't made any commits to this repository yet, so I'm going to add the index.js file in the package lock, and package.json. Let's see, I don't want to make sure this server actually runs. Let's see. So I can run it manually like that, and I should also be able to do an npm start and run it that way. And I should also be able to do the npm watch server. Oh. And yeah, I can run the server just fine locally. I haven't pushed this up to GitHub yet, so I need to create a repository there. And let's see, so I will open up a new terminal window, or excuse me, a new browser window. Go to github.com. And let's see, I need to create a new repository. Make sure I name it the same thing. And since I already have the repository created, I can skip all the other stuff. Next, we copy and paste the commands for pushing to an existing repository into our terminal. Let's see, but first, let's see, I still need to push these files, or commit these files. And then we should be able to push. Okay, and now if we look at the code in GitHub, we should see we've got files in our repository. We've got the index.js, and we've got the package JSON that defines the start script that Heroku will use to actually start the server. And then if I go to Heroku.com and I create a new app, so I'll call it, since these app names are universal, I'll start mine with KVL just to kind of namespace it, and then I'll just call it the same as my repository, which will wind up giving it a very long host name, but that's okay. Oop. Looks like there's a limit. So I'll just call it KVL SavvyCoders Week 11, since that should be fully descriptive. And then we just click Create App, and that'll create the new app. I want to connect it to GitHub. My GitHub account is already connected. The setup for that should be pretty straightforward, though. And then I want to connect this to my SavvyCoders repository. And then I want to deploy the master branch and enable automatic deploys. and like I mentioned last night, it won't automatically deploy until you push the first time, and so I should be able to deploy it by doing a manual deploy. And now I'll get status saying that it's deploying, or that it's building first and then deploying. And if I click this, I think I'll get a bigger output. And this can take a few seconds to finish. All right, now the build step has succeeded, and now it's going to go into the actual deploy step, which was done pretty quick. And now it's giving me a URL that I can navigate to see my app. And I think since I have that hello world, since I have that hello world route, I can just go here and see hello world, and then there's no API or I don't remember off the top of my head what the routes were. Is it API posts or is it just posts? But I don't have any posts because this is a brand new server, so it comes back empty. So then if I want to put something on the server, it's the same thing. I can do a curl -x post just like we did last night and use this URL. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. Oh, let's see, I'll do it well, let me think here. So get our command from last night with the content type described there, and then let's see, paste in my URL, and then my content for the post, and hopefully that was all I needed. So then if I query that again, now I've got a article posted to my Heroku server. Let's see, so we are writing to disk on the Heroku server with our db.json file, and I'm pretty sure what happens is if you restart your dynos, you will lose all of the changes in your database. And that's actually what we will be going over tonight in tonight's lesson. That is using a Heroku provided free Postgres database to persist the data for your blog. Now let's see if if I refresh this, my database is empty again. And again, that's because whenever I refresh the dynos or restart the dynos, that actually destroys the virtual computing instance, the virtual machine that the code was running on, and recreates it. So like you're starting with a brand new PC, and so the data doesn't come along. Anything that you write to disk gets destroyed, and that's what you need a database for. And that's typical with all web apps. When you want your web app to be stateless, it shouldn't have any state stored in memory or on disk. Or on disk. All of the any state that needs to be stored should be stored in a database that can be maintained and scaled independently of the server itself. All right, so hopefully that helps you out with getting your code deployed to Heroku, and it'd be great if you could come to class tonight this far along. I'll try to post the link to my GitHub repository to help you out, and yeah, ask any questions you need in Slack.